Blair Scott just retired from 23 years of atheism activism in 2012 in order to dedicate more time to a stand-up comedy. Blair was the Alabama State Director, the National Affiliate Director, Communication Director, and Outreach Director for American Atheists, and currently serves as a board member. He is the former and current co-host of the Critical Eye podcast and is a Navy veteran, father of twin daughters, divorcee, and has traveled all across Europe, North America, the Middle East, North Africa, Mexico, Canada, and the United States. Blair's comedy reflects his many adventures and his commentary on recent events. He has appeared on Fox News, CNN, Jay Leno, and many more, so I'm happy to introduce Blair Scott.
Leonard Skinner is about the lamest thing you can get. My friend Tom Hand is a comic. He's like, why does people worship Leonard Skinner? One of their songs is The Simple Man. Like, yeah, that's a good philosophy to fucking live by. Be simple. Don't care about nothing else. Anybody else feeling Popalicious right now? Yeah, I'm feeling Popalicious, although I gotta admit I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping that they would elect a black pope, because then I would laugh every time I saw a black man in a pointy white hat. I find it ironic that in the age of the internet they still use smoke signals to let us know. I was expecting a large electronic billboard on top of St. Peter's Cathedral. I was greatly disappointed. Speaking of the Catholics, how's the war on Christmas going? We doing all right? How many casualties this year? Any? I think in the war on Christmas it's obvious which side has the smart bombs and which side doesn't. I'm just glad there's not a war on Easter, since Easter's coming up. That would really suck. Because as we've learned in the past 15 years, having a war on two fronts is really hard. Yeah. And of course, you know, I mean, what's the slogan going to be? Keep the East at Easter! I don't think that'll work for them. So when Robert Price was up here, did anybody else catch themselves looking into his glasses, trying to see if they could catch him looking at porn on his computer? Or is I the only one? Okay. Yeah. How many pot smokers in the audience? Warmer. Yeah. That's not enough whistles, by the way. It's okay, there's no police here, you can admit it. How many pot smokers in the audience? Come on, be honest. How many Captain Fantastic, Superman louds in the room? But what's funny is I get a lot of shit from Christians for smoking pot. And I don't understand that at all. One, does not Genesis say, I give you dominion over the planet, over the animals, over the plants, and over the herbs, right? I mean, it says specifically that. But also Isaiah talks specifically about one where, you know, when the bud is in season, I will prune it and take it apart and reflect upon the herbs upon heat. Okay? That's Isaiah. It says that specifically. That's what pro-pot Christians use that. And I don't understand the anti-pot from the Christian side, especially considering that people get stoned all the fucking time in the Bible. Right? You know, you don't yell loud enough when you're getting raped in the desert. It's okay, you get stoned to death. You get stoned. You know, you're a bad teenager. You get stoned. I'm like, hey, I can live with that. I talk back to my mom when I get stoned. And think about it. Jesus was like, you know, hey, listen, don't cast the first stone. Pass it around instead. You know what I'm saying? Clearly the Bible's pro marijuana. And the Muslims definitely like getting stoned, that's for sure. So I had this really weird incident. I'm in the middle of remodeling my home right now. And so I go to Lowe's and I pick out the new appliance that I want. And they're like, yeah, we'll call you and schedule delivery, no big deal. Great. A couple days go by and Sunday, and there's a knock on my door. And I open my window, stroll there naked, and it's a Lowe's truck. I'm like, thanks for the call, assholes, you know. So now I gotta struggle to get shorts on, a t-shirt, you know. I barely like to see myself naked. I don't want anybody else to see me either. I get up to the door and there's a strapping young man. And he goes, yes sir, I'm here to install your new gas oven. He didn't understand why I was laughing at him. He didn't get the joke. And apparently y'all don't either. So I went to, the problem with telling any jokes that pick on the Holocaust is you have to concentrate really hard on telling them. It's okay, you can laugh. Take the liberal guilt out of your ass. You can do it. Along those lines, I recently had some health issues, and I've lost 34 pounds. Well, see, here's the problem. I don't know how I lost 34 pounds, okay? And it's gone from here, see? It's like I wear a diaper or I just shit my pants, one of the two. So I'm worried about it. I'm having an unexpected weight loss. I'm thinking, in my head, I'm like, is it a, frontal lobe, something, or is it hyperthyroidism, or do I have some kind of tumor on something that's supposed to regulate whatever? So I go see my doctor, and I explain to him my issues. This is what's going on. These are my concerns. I'm worried about, frontal lobe this. I'm worried about hyperthyroid that. I'm worried about a tumor here. And you understand, my doctor is from Hungary. He came to America about 4 years ago and opened up a practice. And he's a great doctor. I love him. He has that European, approach to medicine that I like, and that's not like, oh, it's West Eastern medicine. I mean, he actually gives a shit, is what I mean, right? He doesn't care what the HMO says. And so he looks at me with dead seriousness. He goes, "It's not the tumor." He didn't understand while I was laughing at him either. So I sent him home on a mission to watch Kindergarten Cop. I've yet to report back to him to see if he actually watched it. So any veterans in the house?
Veterans of what?
Military. Any military veterans in the house? Were you military veterans? Navy, all right. One military veteran in the house? Military active duty? Okay, a few others. All right, awesome. One, thank you for your service. I was in the Navy for 10 years. I joined in the 80s, and in the 80s, the commercial was, it's not just a job, it's an adventure. And I gotta be honest, I had that adventure. I loved every minute of my time in the Navy. I got to do some amazing things. I wish I could just sit up here and talk about my Navy time. It was just an amazing time. Wow, these seats are just fucked up from here. When you look at the seats from the stage, they're like moving. Because of that crazy pattern they have on them. That's true. Yeah, did somebody put something in my coat? What the fuck? Alright, so anyways, I loved my time in the Navy. That's like really distracting. It's like, there might as well be a woman sitting there with her legs open. So I'm loving my time in the Navy, loving every minute of it. And, but there were times where I ran into issues. I kind of got my teeth sunk into activism in the Navy, fighting ship chaplains and stuff like that. But day one in boot camp, they go when you have to get your dog tags written up and created. And he's like, well, what religion do you want? I said, well, I'm an atheist, so they'll put atheist on my dog tags. He says, we don't have that. He said, we have no religious preference. I'm like, well, what the fuck does no religious preference mean? That means you call the first imam, rabbi, or monk that happens to fucking walk by? I don't want no religious preference on there. He's like, what do you want? I said, how about no imaginary friends? None of the above? Opt out! I'll take opt out! And so by this time, being the LPO that he is and used to people following orders and not questioning him, he's getting a little pissed at me. He's like, look, if you get shot on the battlefield, who do you want us to call? I'm like, how about a fucking medic? Can I get medic on my dog tag? Jesus Christ. So I still have no religious preference on my dog tags. I actually still have them on my feature. Just so everybody knows, thanks to activism, you can now get atheist on your dog tags.
Yay!
So my very first command was the SSN 705. For those who know what SSN is, that's submarine ship nuclear. So I was on a submarine. And it was the USS City of Corpus Christi. Yes, the atheist was on board the body of Christ. Now, to the Pentagon's credit, it was originally called the USS Corpus Christi. And they were like, wait, we can't have the USS Body of Christ. That's the separation of church-state violation. So they changed it to the USS City of Corpus Christi. Great job, Pentagon, on two levels. One, for following the Constitution. But 2, you just renamed the Jesus boat to the abbreviation COCC. That's right, the Jesus boat was long, hard, black, full of semen, and called the Cock. And I think it's highly appropriate that anything associated with Jesus is named after a dick. Because I'm pretty sure that Jesus was gay. 1, he was a fisher of men. 2, hung around with 12 dudes all the time. I mean, I mix it up, I got a few lady friends, Turn down the advances of Mary Magdalene. Unless you're Tom Cruise, you can disagree with me there. Or not Tom Cruise, what's his name? Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, thank you. Jesus, Tom Cruise. Well, I got Top Gun on the brain right now. I was singing Danger Zone too much yesterday.
I thought you said Jesus was gay.
Jesus is gay, true, yeah. Tom Hanks, we're not sure about. The evidence is still out. So I think it's appropriate that he was associated with that. And then the second part, or the most important part that leads me to the conclusion that Jesus was gay, is the crucifixion itself. Look at any crucifix on a wall. Right? Picture it in your head real quick. Just visualize it. Hear me? Come on, visualize it. Do it. Now, remove the wood. What do you have left? And every time I see a crucifix, all I can think is, oh my God, the view from up here is fabulous! Hey, Jesus. After all, he was hung on the cross for us. He makes Ron Jeremy look like a weenie. Literally, no pun intended. Does anybody hear about that farmer in Oregon that got killed by his pigs? You guys missed that one? I think that's just fucking awesome, first of all. That pigs killed a farmer, that's just awesome. But see, here's the police. The police are kind of like not sure really if he fell into the pit, or the pen, had a heart attack or something, and then the pigs ate him and got him down to his bones. Or if the pigs literally attacked him, knocked him down, and then killed him. And they haven't ruled out foul play. And I'm thinking, wait a second. That's fucked up. Clearly the pigs did it, and you guys are trying to blame the birds. Fucking racist cops. The pigs are going to be the OJ version of the swine community. If the chitlin don't be fitting, you must be acquitted. Clearly not enough. There are too many young people in this crowd. Too many young people. I got to quit telling that joke. OJ's getting old. If you didn't grow up in the 80s, that's okay. I forgive you. We can't all be good. You know the worst part about having sex with Democratic women? Is I just feel like I had sex with the lesser of two evils. Any polyamorous women in the audience? I know there's a few. Be proud. Y'all are nothing more than vaginal socialists. Spread the wealth, that's all I gotta say. Spread the wealth. Men too, men too. Oh, let's see here. Everybody knows that Hugo Chavez died, right? Yeah. I mean, the news always gave Hugo Chavez a bad rap, and I kind of like the guy a little bit because he gave a big bird to George Bush. But there were, we all know that he died and the circumstances around it, but there were a lot of headlines that went unnoticed. And I thought it weird that the mainstream media didn't report on any of these. So I wanted to read a couple of them to you. USA Today, very important newspaper. All right, so these are headlines that most of you probably did not read in the newspaper. Mike, test, test. Hotel newspapers. Let's see, where are they at here? Oh, there they are. Sarah Palin reports, I can see his corpse from my backyard. I don't know why the media didn't report that. I thought that was pretty important. Catherine Bigelow disappointed to learn SEAL Team 6 didn't kill him, thus ending her new movie plans. Dick Cheney insists Venezuela hiding WMDs in Chavez's coffin. Colin Powell prepares UN speech to prove it. 2 eyewitnesses see Chavez leaving the building with Elvis. Israel apologizes, saying, "Our bad, we thought he was a former Nazi in disguise." Russian KGB apologized, saying, "Our bad, we meant to poison that other guy in the hospital." Anybody remember that story? All right, Donald Trump demands long-form death certificate. United States formally admits to having a secret cancer drone. I'll let that one sink in. Right? Bain upset, didn't give Chavez permission to die. Yeah, my nerds. Chavez corpse still getting more pussy than Aquaman. Aquaman, getting laid by dolphins. Dolphins do it for pleasure, we know that. So I mentioned I was in the Navy. I got medically discharged from the Navy after getting into a really horrible car accident that fucked my back and knees up pretty bad, ultimately causing my disc to implode into my spinal column. That was fun. So my doctors tell me the only exercise you can do is swimming. Now, swimming is hard for me to do because I'm on the road a lot, and I don't have a pool near me, and I'm not going to spend 40 grand to get one installed in the riverbed that's in my backyard. So I was telling this to a friend of mine who happens to go to Alabama A&M, which is the school of agriculture and mining, which of course the stereotype is it's a black school, and to be fair, it predominantly is. But I'm telling him about this, and he says, well listen, A&M has a swimming pool, it's relatively cheap, you don't have to be a student, and it's hardly ever used. And I'm like, of course it's hardly ever used, black people can't swim! And so I asked him, why the hell do you have a pool at A&M? And before he could answer, I was like, oh, never mind, I know. There's a pool at A&M for the same reason as a basketball court at Harvard. I get it. It's okay, white people, you can laugh, it's okay. I test all my jokes by black people first. So I'm an atheist. Woo! I live in Alabama. Woo! But I live in a smart city. I live in Huntsville. It's my spot for living in the Sea of Red. But there are some telltale signs to help you identify atheists in the South. And some of them are obvious, some of them are not. For example, if you have a Darwin emblem on your ride-on mower, good sign, you're an atheist. You know, the one drawback, though, is, especially in Alabama, is if I put the Out Campaign sticker on anything, people just yell, "Roll Tide" at me. It doesn't work. Although I have this fantasy that the University of Alabama is just a giant Out Campaign, because their A is so close to it. You know, one of the things that sucks about being an atheist in Alabama is your parents disown you, but have no problem accepting your gay brother. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Definitely a way to find an atheist in Alabama is if there's a cross burning in their front yard and they're white. Good indication they're an atheist. When you're willing to answer Unitarian Universalists to the "what church do you go to" question, good sign you're an atheist. Oh, if you had to illegally download Religious, good chance you're an atheist in Alabama. If gay people in Alabama go, "Oh, you're one of those," you're probably an atheist. If you have an evacuation plan in New York City, probably an atheist in Alabama. If you thank God every day that you're not an atheist in Mississippi, you're probably an atheist in Alabama. If you open your UPS packages very slowly, probably an atheist in Alabama. If New York City atheists have pity for you, you're probably an atheist. We call it the New York City pity. And we get it a lot. If you're the only member of your science club in high school, taking your vote was easy. All those in favor? Aye. The aye has it. If the only place you can pick up women is an abortion clinic, there's a whole another joke there that I'm going to avoid. If you accept pagan as what religion are you, and just in order to get a date, probably an atheist. If you use atheist bumper stickers to hold your bumper together on your car instead of duct tape, might be an atheist. If you're willing to hang out with wishy-washy agnostics just so you have a couple of friends, might be an atheist in Alabama. The best part about being an atheist in Alabama is on Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights, I have the whole road to myself. Those are my traveling days. And of course, if push comes to shove and I need a place to meet, I know I can always meet in the one abandoned building in town, the public library. If you know that vaccination is not a war of northern aggression, you're probably an atheist living in the South. But the best thing is, if you know that a thesaurus is not a dinosaur, you're definitely an atheist. So I wanted to, how many do you want time anyways? 3:21, so we're doing really good. I went too fast. So here's what I'm going to do. It's something I haven't done in 5 years, and I promised a couple people I would do it. I'm going to sing a song. It's probably going to give JT a boner, but that's okay. JT's the only guy I've good gay for.
Me too.
Every time you play with yourself. Oh, alright. Like I said, it's been 5 years since I've done this, so bear with me. Or no. This is called Things Creationists Hate. Thermodynamics and closing the system, DNA helix and text that can twist them, Egyptian history without a flood break. These are the things that creationists hate. Wallace and Darwin and Einstein and Hawking, Asimov, Sagan and Shermer, how shocking. Eldridge and Gould and their colleagues to date. These are the people creationists hate. People who know how to work with statistics, fossils that flesh out the map of cladistics, models that show that the genomes mutate. These are the things that creationists hate. When the fundies purge the textbooks and the schools beset, I mention the things that creationists hate, and that gets them all upset. There are more species than one ark could carry. Light speed inside a vacuum won't vary. Isotopes will melt at a consistent rate. These are the facts that creationists hate. Transitional fossils that show speciation. Galapagos finches and random mutation. Isotopic decay at predictable rates. These are the things that creationists hate. The orbit of planets is heliocentric. Science and reason are now epidemic. God's love to me seems a bit more like hate. These are the things that creationists hate. Pagan witches, Darwin's fishes, seem to make them mad, so they just cling to their Bible and shout, everything else is bad. Thank you very much. Now me, Hugo Chavez, and Elvis are leaving the building.